Welcome to Test Drive Episode 3. I gotta say I'm really excited about this episode of Test Drive. We're gonna be featuring a board that's shaped by somebody who really opened my mind to writing different shapes and being a little more accepting about different boards a few years ago when I got one of his first models, the Vanguard. We'll be featuring the Firewire Evo. This is a board that was created by Daniel Thomson, aka Tomo. He does a lot of boards that he calls the modern planing holes. So basically the premise on a lot of Tomo's boards is you ride them a lot shorter because they're really stubby. You've got parallel rails versus a more foil board that is pulled in the nose and pulled in the tail, sort of thinned out rails. These are more of a continuous rail that stays similar thickness the whole way. Hands down, the most interesting part about the Evo is the bottom of the board. There's a huge single concave scoop, and within that single concave scoop, you have two double concaves on each side of your center fin. Another thing that throws a lot of people off when they're looking at, Tomo's boards, and the Evo especially, is you really gotta get used to the nose being the way it is. I mean, most people, if you're like me, grew up surfing traditional boards that had a pointed nose, or you were surfing more of a round nose fish type of board that had a really full rounded out, type of nose. So the Tomos are very unique in the sense that he literally almost just sort of chops the nose off where you could pretend that a board might keep going. From my experience on Tomo's stuff, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that this is similar to the Vader and similar enough to the Vanguard that this is not going to be some crazy aerial board or small wave trick board. This is going to ride like a really good performance surfboard rides. That's my hope. We're going to take the Tomo and give it a test drive out back. Almost at a loss for words at how fast the Evo was, and I shouldn't be surprised by that because of my experience with the Vader and the Vanguard. The reason I am so surprised with that is that we still did have some summertime surf. I mean, the waves were fun, we had a little swell, but overall, for the most part, it was about stomach high and kind of slow. Not ideal conditions for the Vader or the Vanguard. Most of Tomo's modern planing holes sort of come to life when you get into a little better surf. That feeling of lift that I was getting and a lot of the speed I was getting is once again related to this crazy inside quad single concave, whatever that means. It has to relate to how this board really just seems to pick up and go. I really noticed that what the board does and how it felt under my feet is it really almost feels, like I said, it kind of levitates above the water, but as soon as you go to engage the rail and turn the board, it turns very well as far as sinking that rail and being able to be snappy or do a little roundhouse. This board worked incredible and will work incredible in anything from thigh high to well overhead, and it's hard to find a board that's that universal and that works that good in anything. Now, the very last thing I do want to mention about the Evo, and really about all Firewire surfboards, is Firewire is the first company that has transitioned to eco-friendly super sap resin. All of Firewire surfboards, including all of the Tomo models, are made with the very sustainable EcoBoard Project Eco Sap resin. Thanks everybody for tuning in to Test Drive episode 3, and stay tuned for episode 4. We'll have another one next month.